You know, the zombies aren't scary because they're gonna eat you. They're scary because they look exactly like the person you love the most.
Sing it properly, and I'm gonna sing it to myself first, and then I'm gonna sing it to the camera. I got the lyrics right here in hand, but first I'm gonna warm up my voice. I got a glass of water, that I'm gonna use to obviously quench my thirst and to work on my voice. So here we go. Songs unto the Lord, 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 oh, songs unto the Lord, songs unto the Lord, songs. Songs unto the Lord. Songs unto the Lord. Songs.
Does anyone else know who this is?
Songs unto the Lord. Songs unto the Lord. Songs unto the Lord. Oh, songs unto the Lord. Songs unto the Lord.
Songs unto the Lord.
Songs.
Damn, I came in at the worst possible moment. He totally switched up the whole song on me.
You heard my voice crack right there, man.
This is Josh Marks. He was a finalist in, man, I should have been more prepared. In MasterChef. I forget what season. Whatever season the blind chick won, that was his season. And he has a really odd story. Let me just...
Trying to mess around and hit that high note. That's why I got to keep
Cheers, everyone.
So, I love the song Amazing Grace, but I'm just going to keep on doing this, vocal chant to obviously, thank the Lord for a voice and ask him to help me find it. Songs unto the Lord.
Oh, here we go. Songs unto the Lord.
Songs unto the Lord. Songs unto the Lord.
And this is a guy that,
songs.
We're all imperfect, but this is someone who it seems like was trying to better himself, finding God. But the devil can come for us all.
Songs unto the Lord, songs unto the Lord, songs.
Okay, I was trying to look his story up last time I was here. And I think I finally found a couple videos to go over. Now, Destiny's just completely lost it. That guy's a nut job, so I have something for him too. But let's see. This video wasn't very good, but I mean, it gives a good intro, but it doesn't really explain what happened to this guy. So I'm just going to play this one.
Considered anything else but an incredible fighter. First ranking in 8th place, thanks to a pressure test that would give those eliminated a second chance, Marks was able to return and fought his way to the finals. Being one of the tallest contestants to compete, Marks was incredibly kind and was extremely compassionate. He was always...
This dude, well, he was close enough to 7 foot tall that he could call himself 7 foot.
willing to lend a helping hand, like when he decided to
Huge, look at that. She can't see shit.
Seen Ha, a blind woman, fold her tortellini. On top of being unconditionally friendly, he was undoubtedly a strong cook, which is mainly why he got so far.
He was definitely a
The other
star in
reason
the
was that he
season.
became much more competitive after returning a second time and decided to help out a lot less. Most notably, he decided to refuse Dave's request to give him some rice since
He actually kicked the blind chick's cane out of her hands when she was trying to find her knife.
he had forgotten it in the pantry. Understandably, he wasn't trying to be cold to the other home cooks, but he really wanted to get rid of any potential competition in any way he could. Regardless of the fact that he lacked consistency, Marks put on display that he was a force to be reckoned with. Thanks to his likable personality, he did befriend a lot of contestants including Christine, Becky, Felix, and Monty. Though he did seem to dislike Ryan for backstabbing him, Tally for her incompetence, and David for his delusional attitude. Sadly, the outcome of this chef's career is extremely tragic, so a fair warning to everyone watching, this is going to be pretty depressing.
Brutal.
For a while, Marks was actively
This isn't even
involved with the
brutal.
Make a Sound project, which attempted to raise awareness about mental health issues. Simultaneously, he was working professionally at certain restaurants and was chosen to compete in the culinary night fight in New York. However, after struggling for years with his battle against schizophrenia, Marks passed at his own hands. It's unfathomable to think someone this kind and talented had to leave us in such a way, but we hope he's resting peacefully. If you're having similar feelings, please do reach out since there are so many people out there who are willing to listen.
So, I mean, he touches on it, you know. A battle with schizophrenia. So I guess this dude, where's he at? He made it to final 3, lost because there we go. He made it to the final 3 and, you know, lost because there's only one winner, but they didn't really decide who was second and third. And I guess after the show, he worked a little bit, like the dude said, did like a culinary knife fight. And just, yeah, I guess supposedly Gordon Ramsay's voice, his disembodied voice was like in the dude's ear. I don't know what the fuck he was saying to him. Like, I'm disappointed in you, mate. Whatever. And this, I don't know, he just broke down. He became homeless for a while. I think this video goes into it a little bit more in depth. And just, yeah, man. Rest in peace, Josh. But, you know, just goes to show when you let your thoughts get to you, man. Just let it go.
Of distributing one of his favorite dormitory staples, Hamburger Helper, but with his own twist.
I just want to keep on working on me so that I can be able to continue to touch the youth, continue to touch with my brothers.
Like his fellow contestants, Marks lacked professional cooking experience, and Ramsay was well aware of this.
In a top-flight kitchen, yet you're an amateur.
That's exactly when he was homeless and like losing it, and he just kept hearing that Gordon Ramsay voice. You're an amateur, you're a failure. Why are you flipping cardboard boxes when you should be flipping filet mignons?
Becky, please take a step forward.
However, his standout quality set him apart. His towering height was undeniable, matched only by his generous nature and competitive spirit.
Right, we all
Amidst the
know
intense
this. We know
competition-
about all this stuff.
And immediately called his mother, who was out with a friend at the time.
Okay,
The
what's
first of
this?
these episodes struck when Marks
Okay,
and his mother
the
were in
first
New
episode.
York for a finale viewing event. While at a street festival with Ryan, his friend from the show, several people recognized him and gathered around. Overwhelmed by the sudden attention, Marks felt a surge of claustrophobia and immediately called his mother, who was out with a friend at the time. When she reached Ryan's apartment, her son was starting to regain his composure. Both Marks and his mother initially brushed off the incident. However, over the next few months, such incidents only became more frequent and more concerning. Eventually, they escalated to something far more troubling, where Marks appeared to lose touch with reality. And he dropped some meaningful hints
I
that
just got rid of everything in my life. All the things
Yeah, that's the video that I opened with, and the whole thing is like he was letting people know.
that caused destruction in my life.
And the weird thing too is I think that the church that he joined like are the ones that published that video, and he's like, you know, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's the truth. And it's like, is he really the truth? Because you wound up, we know what happened to him, you know?
That might help us unravel what was going
Like,
on.
I wouldn't put that
Marx's
out there if he was
change
my
didn't go unnoticed by
protege,
his
is all I'm
friends in
saying.
Mississippi. Derek Calvert, his former roommate, vividly recalled a late-night conversation where Marx exclaimed, "That woman is Satan." Calvert was taken aback, not only because he had no clue who Marx was referring to, but also because he had never heard him speak in such a disturbing manner before. Surprising
And
both
he's
his
7 feet
Mississippi
tall.
friends and family back in Chicago, Marx abruptly announced his resignation from his job and his decision to return to Chicago to pursue a career in cooking. Well, the desire for a career change wasn't entirely unexpected. It was the impulsiveness that was out of character. But there was more. Marx revealed that he had met someone and fallen deeply in love, leading to a quick engagement after only a few weeks of dating. Mitchell, his mother, was startled by the suddenness of it all. However, within just as short a span, Marx ended the relationship. Upon his return to Chicago, any hope that his erratic behavior was just a passing phase vanished. In January of 2013, while attending a culinary event in Washington, D.C., Marx called his mother to express his belief that he was fighting evil spirits. The situation took a turn for the worse
Yeah,
the following
obviously
day.
it was.
After returning to Chicago, Marx was involved in a severe car crash involving multiple vehicles. His mother recounted, the car
Dude, one thing, CTE does not make schizophrenia and like psychotic delusions and hallucinations go away, typically.
was completely wrecked. The front end was crushed and the dashboard split in two. According to the police report, Marx was exhibiting aggressive behavior, yelling and attacking paramedics. He was also unable to respond to questions in a coherent manner. But that was just the beginning. His conduct warranted him being restrained to his bed and placed in psychiatric care for 72 hours. That evening,
broke-
as recounted by his mother, was a struggle. Among other things, apparently he claimed that Gordon Ramsay had passed away. Thankfully, he wasn't right about that. But things were about to get even more twisted. Later that night, Mitchell engaged with
I
a
can't even
hospital
imagine.
social worker regarding Marx's options, considering his lack of medical insurance. After several calls, the social worker arranged a brief stay at Rush University Medical Center. However, without insurance, Marx's time there would be limited, leaving him essentially on his own. Yeah, the guy was in a really bad way, and he knew it too.
I'm still refocusing, just working hard to do what I need to do.
Josh
Yeah.
was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and experienced episodes of psychosis. That same week, Marx was discharged with a prescription, along with instructions for his family to closely monitor him. Mitchell recognized her son's urgent need for extended care, yet she faced
So, like, let's just acknowledge that when people are giving you signs and stuff like that, you gotta
obstacles
like
at every
do something
turn.
about it.
Eventually, Marx's mother managed to secure a temporary hospital bed for him through
Remember that in a
persistence.
couple
However, each time he was discharged, he left with a new set of prescriptions. Now, I want to take a second and get real with you here. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health issues, know that you can contact the crisis text line by texting HOME to 741-741. Call the National Alliance on Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI 6264 or
And stop being a bitch.
visit the National Institute of Mental Health's website. I take mental health very seriously, and
Yeah,
I know that mental
I
illnesses
joke,
can be
but-
tricky to spot. So share this information with your loved ones if you can. You might just help prevent someone you love from making the same choices Marx did. Because what happened next occurred on the fateful night of
Okay,
July 28th,
this is after this. We're done with this. We're moving
Earlier
on.
that
This is
day,
way
his
too heavy.
sister heard Marx mentioning people, advising
This guy was
him
actually super
not
nice.
to live. Marx was expected to stay with
Wait,
his
what?
beginning P8th, 2013. Earlier that day, his sister heard Marx mentioning people, advising him not to live.
She heard him mentioning people telling him to not to live.
Marks was expected to stay with his mom that night, but as the hours passed and he failed to respond to Mitchell's calls, people started getting concerned. Later, Mitchell discovered that Marks had parked his car in Hyde Park and had been wandering aimlessly for hours. At some point, in what the family believes was either a genuine suicide attempt or an effort to silence the torment in his mind, Marks shot himself in the head while seated in his car. Around 4 a.m., he utilized an emergency phone at the University of Chicago. Upon
Rest
the
in
arrival
peace.
of a campus officer, Marks exhibited facial cuts caused by bullet fragments. When questioned, Marks attacked the officer, attempting to seize his firearm. A second officer had to intervene.
And he's
using a
7 feet
baton
tall,
and pepper
too,
spray.
like, even
Marks
a
broke
big
free
police
briefly,
officer
but
would
was
have
eventually
trouble with
subdued
that.
by 3 officers in a nearby backyard.
That's
Throughout the
crazy,
ordeal,
man.
he rambled incoherently, at one point claiming that Gordon Ramsay had possessed him and transformed him into a god.
Transformed
Yeah,
him into a
this is where that quote
god.
from the top of the video comes from. Marks was
Gordon
taken to the
Ramsay
campus
did
hospital
that to
and
him.
subsequently Mount Sinai for treatment after
Bro.
possessed him and rambled incoherently, at one point claiming that Gordon Ramsay had possessed him and transformed him into a god. Yeah, this is claiming that Gordon Ramsay had possessed him and transformed him into a
Wow.
god. Yeah, this is where that quote from the top of the video comes from. Marks was
I
taken to the
promise you,
campus
if you-
hospital
you're not
and
God.
subsequently Mount Sinai for treatment after sustaining a hematoma and a broken jaw, both serious enough that he needed surgery. What's more, he also faced serious charges of aggravated assault against a police officer, a felony. The judge presiding
Brutal.
over his case set his bail at $150,000, with $15,000 sufficient for release. With his jaw wired shut, Mark spent time in general population at the Cook County Jail until his mother managed to gather the necessary funds. Adding to the mounting challenges, she had to retain a lawyer and a
That was-
psychiatric
Was that after he shot himself already?
expert to illuminate the impact of Marks'
miss something?
bipolar disorder on the incident. Following his release from jail, his mother sought treatment where Marks was subjected to heavy medication. However, upon leaving the hospital, Marks received an unexpected blow. His discharge papers cited an additional diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia. And
Yeah, he
obviously,
needs that.
The news shattered him. Understanding her son's distress, Mitchell took him to live at her father's residence on the city's far south side, where he could receive
What?
constant supervision and care. But on the morning of October 11th, 2013, Marks rose early, sending out a concerning text while his family slept peacefully. Soon, the family received a call from Marks's uncle relaying a distressing turn of events. Marks was armed somewhere in the neighborhood. Filled with dread, Mitchell hurried to her dad's house, racing through Englewood, hoping for a different outcome. Desperate for a sign of relief, she scanned the alleys, hoping to find her son safe. But with a heavy heart, she eventually discovered him
Bruh.
lying motionless, the weapon by his side, a small wound in his head, but remarkably little blood. The painful truth sank in. Her worst fears had become a devastating reality. A decade has passed, and there's still a lot
That's
to
so
do in
brutal.
terms of mental health awareness and advocacy. My heart goes out to his friends and family. He was a remarkable, inspiring man, and he will be missed. I hope we can collectively do more to help people with mental health issues.
Weekend confirmed the 26-year-old committed suicide Friday night in Chicago's South Side.
Ramsey couldn't even
Damn,
convey
dude.
how much this incident affected him. However, he did leave a small message for the next contestant who passed
He knew, I mean,
away.
Ramsey's the one that possessed him. He knows.
So I met a life coach named
Life
Christian, and he's been
This is an amazing life coach commercial right here.
helping me with some of the things that I need to learn in this process. And I just want to thank my faith. And just so happened, the guy, his name is Christian, and you know he helps me with my faith. And it's funny because
Rest
I
in
met
peace,
this
bro.
guy when I was down to my last eye. I just came from New York.